Yo, what is going on, everyone? It is your boy Ghostface69 here, and today, as you can see from the title, we are ranking every single Ghostface in Scream. Full transparency, I already recorded this video, but before I ended up editing it, I happened to do a Scream marathon, and the rankings changed, so we're doing it again. And I like most of the ghost faces. There's only like one or two that I'm not really fond of, but the rest I love. So it was a very, very hard ranking. But yeah, I'm just gonna, hopefully I'll play some footage. If you don't see footage, that's copyright unlucky, but there should be some footage over them. Other than that, we're just gonna do a good old tier list video. And I mean, yeah, I have the killers currently in order from like chronologically, but I'm not gonna place them chronologically. I'm gonna go from bottom to top. So I mean, without further ado, in last place we have Wayne Bailey, or Wayne Kirsch, or whatever his real name was. This guy, he's one of like the two I'm not fond of. He has a really cool scene in like the bodega where he starts shotgunning people, and that's really my favorite scene for him. But like, other than that, Wayne, like, he just doesn't do it for me, man. He literally pulls off the mask and goes, of course it's me. And like, yeah, it kind of was. Like, him and Ethan were very, very easy to see coming. So, I mean, it wasn't a shock when he was Ghostface. The reveal, like, after he took off the mask, like, he didn't do much after. Before, he was kind of a nothing burger character. And the only real compliments I can give to Wayne are when he's actually in the costume and he does some pretty sick ghost facing. But other than that, like, super forgettable character, not my favorite, and definitely, or actually not my favorite, not my least favorite Ghostface, probably. But coming and giving Wayne a run for his money, I know this one is a mega hot take in the community, but Nancy Loomis. I don't see it. I think it's dumb. She's barely in the movie before she's revealed. I don't like it. It's honestly, it's possibly worse than Wayne. I just think Wayne was like such a forgettable character. Like, I put Nancy above him because she at least has a cool motive. Like, it being Billy's mother is pretty cool. But at the same time, like, bro, you barely see her at all. Oh, she's like the mastermind, like, bro, and she does pretty much, she kills Randy. Like, I don't know, I don't like it. I don't think it was a good twist. And I mean, yeah, these are like the only two that like I actively dislike. The one I'm neutral on that comes in next is Ethan Landry. They said it was a fake name. We don't really know this guy's name, but Ethan, I'll just call him for now. Ethan, kind of like his dad, is pretty much a nothing character. You like, because Scream 6 had to focus on 3 killers, very few of them actually got time to be in the spotlight, which kind of hurt the individual Ghostfaces a bit. But Ethan, like, before he's Ghostface, he's like the most whatever boring character possible. As Ghostface is where he gets the points above his dad. I think not as Ghostface in costume, but as Ghostface without the mask, I think he did a pretty decent job looking like a schizo, and like he has the motivation of like he wants to make sure his father's proud of him type thing. And I think that's a bit better than just Wayne being like, for my son, and like, I'm not a good father. Yeah, so like Ethan, not amazing, but like I think his motivation is all right, and I think him without the mask is pretty cool. He also had the cool scene where they're stabbing my boy Chad in the double knife fight. That was pretty cool. So I mean, other than that, yeah, I think that's the bottom 3. The next 5, I believe, is pretty much why I remade the list. These 5 have been reordered and rearranged in my head so many times, and like my opinion of them will probably change by like tomorrow. Coming in next at the bottom of our A tier, we have Mickey. And I mean, like, this one might be a bit of a hot take. I know I see Mickey at either the very top or the very bottom of people's lists, and I'm lean more toward the bottom side. Him being a serial killer before being Ghostface, pretty cool. His reveal, I don't know. The first time watching, I barely remembered he was a character, so I was like, who is this guy? But then like his one thing, like the next 3 or 4 ghost faces were all carried by like one scene that they really popped off in my head. Mickey's is his surprise Sydney where he puts the voice changer up and then throws it. That's pretty hard. And I mean, like, he's cool in like the sense that the reason I like Mickey, and I like the rest of them from here on out pretty much, like a solid amount, but the reason I like Mickey is because he like full on gaslights Sydney, like just because he can. He goes like, yo, Derek's probably the killer, bro. You can't trust that guy. I wouldn't trust that guy if I were you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just kind of baits Sid throughout and like really mess up her, like mess her up in the brain. And I mean, like, that's just like he didn't have to do that. He's just kind of a dickhead. But like, that's why I like Mickey, but why I don't think he's better than the ones above him. Like, you barely see him throughout, like, you see him a bit early on, but like, he's kind of just like a goofball, and then he disappears for 40 minutes, and then he comes back as a serial killer, and then like, even then he gets shot like a little bit after. So like, I didn't really get like enough like attachment to his character. He's so random. He does his goofy dance in the cafeteria, and I didn't see enough of him to warrant him being higher than the people above him. That being said, coming next on the list is Richie, who I originally had like 2 or 3 spots higher. But Richie, I kind of realized I like him a lot before he's Ghostface. Like him as like the caring boyfriend, like gaslighting his girlfriend, is doing God's work as a character. He's likable. You kind of don't want him to be Ghostface, but you also kind of know it's him at the same time, which is pretty much like the point, and I really like that. But as Ghostface in Mask, he does pretty much nothing. Amber does like 90% of the work. And then out of Mask, the reveal is like kind of like okay, but then he pretty much does nothing out of Mask. The reason Richie gets a lot of bonus points is because of Scream 6. Seeing that he was like the super fan that collected every single mask used, and he had like the whole museum that was super cool to look at, that gets Richie some bonus points. But for his own movie and like him as Ghostface, like not really. Not bad, I like him, but not as impressive as the ones above him. That being said, next up on the list we have what I think is a bit of a hot take as well, Quinn being this high. And IMO, out of the Scream 6 killers, Quinn did it by far the best. So before she's Ghostface, she does what Richie does pretty much 1 for 1, and I think it works just as well, if not better. She plays best friend to the main characters, and like Mickey kinda does that, and like Billy and Stu definitely do it. I think since Billy and Stu, these two were probably the best after. I like Amber as well also, but like Richie and Quinn really play it close to the main characters. They're like their super friend, and Quinn just seems like super chill pre-Ghostface reveal. And then as Ghostface, she doesn't have that many kills. That's why she's kind of this low. She doesn't do much in costume. But after Ghostface, again, like Mickey, she's kind of carried by this one scene where like she gets hit in the face, but then she like gets up with like blood on her mouth and starts dragging a knife across. Like it's very Ghostface-esque as opposed to fucking Wayne Bailey over there. But like I think Quinn did a really good job as Ghostface, and I like her switch from like nice friend to Ghostface, and I think it performed really well. Just like we didn't get like the movie couldn't focus on her enough to get her higher. I think if this was a 2 Ghostface movie and it was just like her and Ethan, it actually would have benefited Scream 6 a lot more. But for now, she comes in here just at the entirely like halfway point. And next on the list, the person that jumped up the most in my rankings, he was down like 3 spots, is Roman. Roman is one that grew on me. He was originally like bottom 3, bottom 2 for me. But after rewatching Scream 3 a couple times, like 2 and 3 are my least favorite movies, but I still like them. And Roman, I realize Roman as like a before he's Ghostface is kind of just fucking hilarious, bro. Like when he has the trophy, he's like, don't you think this is a message? And then later when he's like drinking and he's like full on acting that he's like a random, and he's like, the more the merrier, I'll be right back. And he's just like pretending the whole time. Like when you realize Roman knows what he's doing the whole time and he's just like being a dumbass on purpose, it makes all of his actions like 10 times funnier. And then even when he is Ghostface, his director and brother, I direct Sydney. He's like, he's such like a goof character, but like it kind of works. And he's also a goofball and scary at the same time, kind of like Mickey, but even more so that he's a solo Ghostface. He's just doing this by himself, and he's kind of directing. He's not really wrong. And like the thing with Roman is like, on paper, he's like by far the worst, right? Like he's a main prominent character introduced with his back to the camera in his establishing shot. He's not seen that much. And then, like, at the end, the main thing against Roman and why he's not higher is his reveal has almost no weight, because Sydney doesn't know who the fuck this guy is when he's revealed. Like, he just pulls off his mask, and Sydney's like, who is this guy? Which, that drags it down a little bit, sadly. But, I mean, Roman, he was kind of funny. He did it solo, and he had some of the coolest, like, the scene where I think it's Candy. she's like in like the room with all the Ghostface costumes, and he like peeks out because he's already wearing one disguise. Like, I love that scene so much. And I mean, yeah, Roman actually funnier than I remember, so he gets the also like the top half of the list. Next up on the list, we have my most underrated goat, Charlie Walker. I don't know why people hate on Charlie so much. They say his motivation was dumb. I disagree, bro. He did it. This guy wanted the girl, didn't get her, and then when he finally got the girl, he's like, bro, it's too late. I'm already a serial killer. And him, like, just like being like a super fan, thinking him and Jill are gonna go like all the way to mass murderer status, only to get betrayed by. I love Charlie's character arc, and like the scene, a lot of people don't like it. His scene where he stabs Kirby as like his reveal, I think that's one of the best Ghostface reveals in the series, because like you finally think like they're gonna get together, and then like you would assume like maybe Ghostface jumps out and stabs one of them, but then no, Charlie stabs her. And I don't know, and I mean, if you take like the actual in Ghostface costume into account, Charlie does most of the work in this movie, and he does good work, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, he's not as funny as like people like Roman or like Quinn were out of character, but he's still like funny enough, and he kind of gets like he knows what he's talking about, bro. He's not like a bad character by any means. And you know, his Randy gets the girl like angle, like I kind of fuck with it, bro. I think Charlie is super underrated, and he comes in just outside the top 4, which I think are personally like I think these guys, and then the next one's in a tier of its own, and then the top 3 are in a tier of their own. But next up, and rounding out our S tier, we have another one of the most underrated goats, Amber Freeman. Amber is exactly the what's it called, like the next version of Stu that we needed, and absolutely perfectly played by the actress. Oh my god, Amber's just like absolute psycho and like chaotic energy that they bring to the Ghostface role. I think it's perfect. I think Stu did it really well in the original, Quinn followed up on it, and then I think Amber as well also followed up on it really, really hard. The little scene with the knife, if you know you know what I mean. Like she did most of the killing. She killed Dewey, by the way. Like, I mean, like, big ups for that one. And I mean, she just brought like she felt like Ghostface, like the evil psycho that just wants to go stab people for like the sake of the movies. Like, it really, like, Richie was kind of like a crybaby-esque in the end, and like Scream 6 kind of redeemed them a little bit. But Amber was just like the obsessed fan, super psycho, and I think she brought that energy really, really well. And I mean, I think she played out of Ghostface and as Ghostface both really well. A lot of people think that like she should have stayed, the original script was her being Tara's girlfriend, and they thought that would have given her more weight in the story, which to some degree I agree. But at the same time, her just being like a best friend that turned out to be a super psycho, I'll take it. And I mean, I thought Amber was very, very well played. So she rounds out our S tier. And then moving on to the Z tier, the goats of ghost facing. Coming in at number 3, we have Jill Roberts. And I mean, I was surprised. I thought this would be a hot take, but apparently a lot of people also like Jill. So I'm very, very happy with that. Jill is such a cool reveal, so unexpected the first time I watched the movie. And I mean, like, the whole, like, she almost got away with it is so cool. The fact that, like, she kind of does win, and she gets all the cameras on her while she's getting transported to the hospital. And then, like, the hospital scenes where, like, Gail, like, realizes, like, she shouldn't know they have matching stab wounds, and, like, the clear with, like, the shocking, like, the whole hospital scene at the end was super well done. And I mean, I just think Jill, I think her motivation ranks at some of the highest, like next to like probably like Billy, I think, for motivation on like, and like Roman for like how much I like why they did it. Jill's entire thing is she just wants to be famous, bro. Like Total Drama Island to cue the intro. Like she wants all the cameras on her, super ego, and I mean, like, that's what I want for my killer, bro. I don't want them to have like the kind of sad like Richie motive, or like even like Miss Loomis, like the, oh, you killed my son, it's revenge. Nah, none of that, bro. Jill's just like eyes on me right now, only me. And I mean, I think it works out perfectly. Didn't see it coming. Like, related to Cindy, good in the story, good before Ghostface, good in costume, even though she doesn't do too much. It is Charlie for the most part, but then very, very good once the masks come off. And for me, she is my number 3. And then, obviously, there wasn't any doubt that these two would be number 1 and number 2. But number 2, we have Stu Macher. I think Stu is a lot of people put him top 3, and I still think he's underrated. Like, every scene this guy is in the original Scream, he steals the spotlight. And it's Matthew Lillard, bro. I don't know, Shaggy locked in or something, bro. He's so funny, so goofy. But then the hints are there that he is the killer. And I mean, the scene where like Sydney runs to him and she's like, Stu, and then he pulls out the thing and it's surprise, Sydney. Oh my, that's so good, bro. And he just has so many scenes where like he's just kind of a goofball, and it works, bro. You hit me. There's so many iconic lines and scenes from Stu. I just think he did it so well. His whole like yo, what made you do it, Stu? Peer pressure, bro. And like it's such like a good foil to Billy just being like a full psycho. And I mean, nothing is gonna beat the originals, and that's why obviously my number 1 is Billy Loomis. I don't really have to explain why Billy's number 1. I mean, like it's Billy, bro. He's like the psycho thing, like as Ghostface in costume, nailed. As Ghostface out of costume, like pre-reveal, or sorry, after reveal, nailed. And then pre-reveal, I mean, like, the signs are there. He is making horror references the whole movie, and it's like, damn, what do you know? It is him. Randy, again, calls it, and in the video store, I mean, it's Billy, bro. Like, well, I don't need to say anything else. He is Ghostface, like, in my head. So, I mean, yeah, that would be my ranking, refined ranking of all the ghost faces in Scream. I hope you enjoy. If you disagree, please leave your comments and hot takes in the comments, and I will make sure to respond to them. I read all comments. I love to see what you guys think. And if you're feeling so inclined, please slasherly slash the subscribe button and help your boy out and give a like for the algorithm. Thank you so much. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a good night.